I'm Jennifer Appleton, Operations Director for ISO Quality Services. We're an ISO certification business based in St John's, Worcester. We're at a stage where the first apprentice we recruited was in finance, and we had two working part-time mums in our finance department, and what they were struggling to do, whilst they could keep on top of the day-to-day work, they were struggling to maybe push the department forward as well as maybe some of the other departments have been. So it was actually one of them that suggested maybe we got in a junior, and going from sort of networking events and things like that, got talking to the Worcestershire College, and they suggested potentially looking at somebody who was training on an apprenticeship, an AAT apprenticeship. So yeah, we just sort of had a chat with them, sort of looked at it from an internal perspective and decided that would be a good route for us to go as a growing organisation. So we put together a job description, a person specification, sent it over to the college. They were really helpful. They advertised the vacancy for us, first interviewed the candidates, tested the candidates. They went through kind of maths, literacy tests and things like that, and then sent us over what they thought were the best candidates. So I think we got, for that role, about 3 CVs, and we interviewed 2 of them, and it really was a tough choice between the 2 that we interviewed. But yeah, no, it worked out really well. They're very nervous. They've never been to a formal interview before, if we're one of the first places that they've applied to. So you do kind of have to soften down the interview process, make them feel comfortable. A lot of the time, it's very informal chatting. We will ask some questions because we want to see how they think on their feet, and at the end of the day, you're investing in these people. You need to make sure you're getting the best. But yeah, it does have to be a little bit more of a gentler interview process, and maybe inviting them back for a second interview and asking them the harder questions then, once they've already met you and feel a bit more comfortable with you. I mean, we've been really lucky. We've had 3 excellent candidates sort of come forward and be apprentices for us, of all different ages as well. We've had from 16 to 24, so we've kind of had the whole age range. We interviewed probably 7 or 8 in total for across the roles. Some were better than others, I won't lie, but overall we've been really, really pleased, and the success. I mean, for example, one of our apprentices, Natalie, she's been with us 2 years now. She's gone on to her second NVQ. She's actually moving departments now. She's applied internally for a role, and we're actually backfilling her role with a graduate, which just shows how much she's developed the role that she's in as an apprentice. It was an apprenticeship role. She's developed it that far now that we've gone and backfilled her with a graduate as she moves on within the business. They actually fall in line with our overall training support that the business gives. So we have a commitment to at least 4 hours of personal development time a month. Apprentices get slightly more because they get the time with the tutor, and then obviously they have to have some time to complete their reflective accounts and things. But they will get involved in all of the other training. So if they've got a senior member of staff going on customer service training, I'd also send them. So we don't really differentiate in that respect. However, yeah, they do get some time to complete their NVQ, where they can go off into another room and have some peace and quiet to do it in. I would, yes, but I would advise them not to look at it as a cheap way to employ somebody. And I know that sounds horrible, but we never went into it with that mind frame. Yes, there are beneficial costs involved in terms of grants and the salary and things like that, but for us it was very much about, there is a role there, it is a junior role, and we want to develop it. And I think if businesses go into it with that attitude, they won't be disappointed. The only thing I would say is I think sort of 5 years ago when I first started with the business, we weren't really aware of the apprenticeship scheme. There's so much more information out about it these days, and I think businesses do need to look into it. It's not going to be right for every business, but it is worth investigating into and putting that time into seeing if it could work for them. One of the other things that we're really proud of is that we were recognised in November as Worcestershire Apprenticeship Employer of the Year, which I think kind of goes towards all the contributions that all of the apprentices have given to our business, and allowed us to be nominated for that award and then win it overall, and I think that's one of the things we're most proud of through the apprenticeship programme.